History by the Hour, Episode 5, The Morning the World Went Silent, September 11th, 2001. The morning begins like any other across the United States. Cities are already awake. Commuters fill highways in steady streams of traffic. Airports begin processing early departures. Television networks run routine programming. Weather updates, interviews, morning shows, and scheduled news segments that feel predictable and familiar. There is no sense yet that anything is different. In New York City, the skyline stands clear under a calm blue morning sky. In offices, employees settle into work. In classrooms, students begin their day. Across the country, everything moves in its normal rhythm. Steady, structured, uninterrupted, and at this exact moment, nothing suggests that within hours, the world will be watching the same unfolding situation together in real time. Morning, a routine day across a connected nation. By the early morning hours, millions of people are already active. News anchors appear in studios across the country delivering standard updates. Markets prepare for opening. Flights are departing and arriving on schedule. Air traffic control systems manage hundreds of planes already in motion. It is a day that, on the surface, looks identical to countless others. This sense of normalcy is what defines the beginning of the morning. Not urgency, not disruption, just routine. But as the hours approach mid-morning, that routine begins to break in small and subtle ways. At first, it is only interruptions in broadcast programming, short segments cutting into scheduled shows, anchors returning to the screen unexpectedly, and tones beginning to shift, not yet alarmed, but noticeably more serious. Something is happening, and the information is still forming. Early reports, confusion begins to spread. As coverage increases, early reports remain unclear. A developing situation in New York City, an unfolding incident in Lower Manhattan, television networks begin shifting away from normal programming. Anchors appear more frequently on screen. Reporters are dispatched to live locations. At this stage, the information is fragmented and incomplete. Different outlets report slightly different details. Some facts are confirmed, others are still being verified. And across the country, viewers begin paying closer attention than usual. Remote controls move more frequently between channels. Conversations pause mid-sentence as people try to understand what is being reported. There is no full picture yet, only pieces. 10 o'clock national broadcast shift. The media system changes state. As more information becomes available, television networks begin transitioning fully into continuous live coverage. Scheduled programming disappears almost entirely. Anchors remain on screen for extended periods. Live feeds begin dominating broadcasts across multiple networks at once. The tone becomes consistent across outlets, controlled, careful, and increasingly serious. At this point, something important happens socially. Television stops being entertainment. It becomes the primary source of shared awareness. Across workplaces, offices grow quiet. In schools, teachers pause lessons to turn on televisions. In airports, travelers stop near departure monitors. A single shared focus begins forming across millions of people. Not because they planned it, but because they are all responding to the same unfolding reality. Mid-morning, a nation locked into live coverage. As the morning continues, broadcasts remain uninterrupted. There is no return to normal programming, no shift back to routine content. Anchors carefully repeat verified information, emphasizing what is confirmed and what is still developing. Language remains precise and restrained, but emotionally, the atmosphere continues to shift. People begin staying in place longer than usual. Work activity slows, public spaces become quieter. Even those who are not actively watching directly are still affected through surrounding environments, screens in shops, radios in cars, televisions in waiting areas. The entire country becomes synchronized through information, not physically together, but mentally aligned on the same broadcast. Late morning, the situation expands beyond borders. As global news organizations pick up the coverage, the audience expands rapidly beyond the United States. Television networks in Europe, Asia, and other regions begin switching to live feeds. Breaking news banners appear across international broadcasts. The event is no longer local or national, it becomes global. Millions of additional viewers begin tuning in as the same live coverage is distributed worldwide. For many people, this becomes the first time they experience an unfolding global event in real time at this scale. There is no delay between occurrence and awareness. No edited summary, only continuous live reporting. And that changes how people perceive the moment entirely, because now it is not just happening somewhere else, it is happening everywhere at once. Afternoon, information, analysis, and emotional weight. As the day progresses, reporting becomes more structured. Government officials provide updates. News organizations verify facts and correct earlier uncertainty. Analysts begin appearing on broadcasts to interpret what is happening and what it means. But even as clarity improves, emotional weight increases. The tone across networks remains serious and steady. There is no return to entertainment programming. No shift back to normal scheduling. The entire media system remains locked into continuous coverage. And across the public, a shared emotional state begins to form. A mixture of attention, disbelief, and heaviness. People are not just watching news anymore. They are processing something larger than individual updates. Mid-afternoon, a collective memory forms in real time. By mid-afternoon, millions of people across multiple time zones are still watching the same live broadcasts. Workplaces remain unusually quiet. Homes remain focused on television screens. Public areas reflect continuous news coverage, and something significant begins to emerge. A collective memory is forming while the event is still unfolding. People begin realizing they will remember this moment clearly for the rest of their lives. Not just what they saw, but where they were, what they were doing, how the atmosphere felt around them. The memory is not something that will develop later, it is already forming in real time. Late afternoon, a permanent shift in atmosphere. As the afternoon continues, broadcasts remain uninterrupted. Anchors maintain steady coverage. Reporters continue delivering updates from multiple locations. And across the country, a shift in atmosphere becomes clear. Normal programming does not return. The day has fully changed its identity. Even without full understanding of every detail, there is a widespread recognition that something irreversible has taken place. And that recognition does not need to be spoken aloud. It is understood collectively. Evening, continuous global attention. As evening arrives, coverage continues across networks worldwide. Television screens remain active in homes, public spaces, and workplaces. Families remain gathered in silence or quiet conversation. Public areas reflect the same ongoing broadcast. The event continues to be processed in real time. And even as daylight fades, attention does not shift away. It remains fixed, sustained, shared. The day does not end in the way normal days do. It continues forward into collective memory. Closing, a day that redefined global attention. As night falls, broadcasts continue shaping how the event is understood across the world. The day becomes more than a news event. It becomes a shared global experience, a moment where billions of people were connected through the same unfolding information. And long after coverage transitions into reflection, analysis, and historical context, the memory remains fixed in global consciousness. Because on September 11, 2001, the world did not just receive information about history, It watched it form together in real time.